today we're going to travel the multiverse. I'm Richard Cole, this is Amari Music Talk, and today we're going to do some fantasy album creation here. And today's choice is going to be The Time, my favorite band, and the band that I ranked as the #1 funk band of the 80s. And I want to talk about, say, a what if. You know, what if it's 1983, Prince wasn't necessarily working on Purple Rain, at least not as a movie, and it was time for another Time album in 1983. What would that have sounded like? What would the song choices, what song choices would have been on that album? Well, I decided in this fantasy album creation to call this 1983 album The Time, Just in Time. And I came with that title because I wanted to do a fantasy album and didn't have a title for the album yet. But I was looking for photos of the time for the in-show graphics and to do like a mock-up of the cover for it. And while I'm looking through the Google images, there was this band. Turns out that it is one of St. Louis's own Just in Time. They're the band formerly known as Dirty Mugs, and I've got to check them out. While they were Dirty Mugs many years ago, and this group local had their own following. A spot that I used to hang out at, used to be able to get a good spot at the bar and have a nice chill evening. And when this band was booked to play at this spot, the day I went, it was like straight after work, and the place was packed. I barely got a spot at the bar. They had their own audience, and I mean, they basically ripped up the stage. In fact, they're still ripping up the stage. In fact, one of the co-hosts on this show, my former keyboard player and former songwriting partner, the international man of mystery, the artist formerly, the artist known as Alex B, is a good friend of the lead singer Justin, so shout out. Hey, if you want to come on the show, you're welcome to come on the show, talk about music, and like I said, you're more than welcome. But Alex B knows member of the band, and was like, hey, have you heard this Just in Time? So he filled me in on the background. I was like, oh yeah, okay, so I've seen them before. And I was like, cool, Just in Time, that is a cool name. I like that name. I mean, not that anything was wrong with Dirty Mugs, but I like Just in Time better. And so I was like, hey, boom, that'll be a good title, Just in Time, for this imaginary time album. And so you're asking what songs would be on this album. So I kind of pulled from a number of different sources, because like I said, this is the multiverse. Say some of the rules of physics may work differently. Some things may be similar, but then they may turn out different. Some things may still exist, some things may not exist at all, and some things can exist in a different form. So as far as the lead-off songs, took inspiration from the 1999 Super Deluxe, as well as a post from Jimmy Jam, and that's in regards to the first two tracks, which would be Fill You Up and Irresistible Bitch. So those two songs, according to Jimmy Jam, were originally written to be, I guess, like the lead-off songs for the third Time album. But as we know, basically Prince recorded both of those songs left them in the vault. In fact, Irresistible became a B-side for Let's Pretend We're Married, in a different version than the version that's on the 1999 Super Deluxe. And same thing for Fill You Up. That was re-recorded in '86 and didn't really see an official release until it became the B-side of Party Man. So just based on Jimmy Jam's post saying that those songs were originally intended for the time, well, those would be the perfect lead off songs, and especially coming off the heat of What Time Is It? You got that 1-2 punch in there, and especially the way that they sound on the 1999 Super Deluxe, and then you throw in Morris Day on top, with the vocals in this imaginary scenario, yeah, that would be a definite strong album opener. Like I said, a definite strong 1-2 punch, track 1, track 2 on side 1 of that. So the third song, and in this particular case I'm keeping it with the 6-song format of both their debut album as well as What Time Is It? So you get these tracks definitely with the extended funk jams to go along with it. So, keeping within this formula, wasn't broken, so no need to fix it. But the third song I chose was Rearrange, which you can also hear on the 1999 Super Deluxe. And while that kind of shares a musical DNA with Lady Cab Driver, again, in this imaginary realm, you could still have Prince doing Lady Cab Driver, still part of 1999. But for Rearrange, maybe keep some of the basic elements of it, but, in its finished form, again, you got Morris Day's vocals on top, probably his drumming on top of that, maybe tweaking some of the arrangement here and there. And I think you got a strong side 1 finisher. So you've got this side 1 that's just this total non-stop, pure, unadulterated Minneapolis funk going on. So from there, we're going to flip the record over and go to side 2. And side 2 will open with Bold Generation. Again, that one for sure was definitely originally written by the time. Or not written by the time, but written for the time. And in the liner notes on the 1999 Super Deluxe, you do have Morris Day on drums. And, I can't say enough about Morris Day's drumming. I think I knew he was the drummer for Grand Central, back when they were in high school, and figured that, yeah, he was a pretty good drummer. But I think from about 2004 I really learned the extent where Prince gives him a shout out in was it Modern Drummer magazine, I think, and then I guess based on that shout out, they reached out to Morris Day and did an interview, and that appeared in the same issue. And to find out that on those first 2, and actually, Ice Cream Castles as well, that Morris Day is the drummer on about maybe 80% to 90% of those tracks on those albums. Man, he elevated as far as like one of my top 5 favorite drummers, probably, if not of all time, definitely among my top 5 drummers of funk. And a testament to that, you can go on YouTube, type in Morris Day playing drums, and there's clips of him on stage doing a little 2-3 minute spin on the drums. And I mean, amazing drummer. So Bold Generation, for say newbies of Prince and his music, if you have the Graffiti Bridge album, the track New Power Generation is a sort of reworking of Bold Generation. So you have the basic elements like the basic groove. Most of the lyrics are still intact, but you know, it's some new elements because it's now New Power Generation instead of Bold Generation. But that's the actual finished version. But if you want to hear the original version, Bold Generation, then check out the 1999 Super Deluxe. But again, in this imaginary world, in the multiverse, you know, Michael Dean tags it as the quantum realm based on the Avengers movies. You know, call me the, you know, the Black Doctor Strange with locks. Traveling the multiverse, causing funky incursions. You know, like I said, again, in this imaginary world, that Bold Generation is tweaked, you know, to where it's a finished, properly, you know, mixed, mastered. Morris Day's vocals on top. Maybe, you know, the other Time members, maybe Jesse's contributing some heavy guitar to it, and you know, the rest of the fellas are contributing those you know, them background vocals, those classic Time background vocals. And again, you know, it keeps the party going, and it elevate, you know, it makes this a strong, or to me, maybe a slightly stronger album than What Time Is It? And what would probably solidify that would be the next two tracks. And now we're really going to go deep into this multiverse thing and how the laws of physics are different and how things might be different. Again, you know, pointing out Multiverse of Madness, where they're in that one dimension where people stop on green lights and go at red lights. That kind of weird, you know, little tweak of reality. We'll go into track 4, or song number 2 on side 2, and that would be the appearance of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis debuting their composition on a Time album. So again, physics works different in this universe. Prince isn't the big control freak. He's more kind of like George Clinton in this universe, where, you know, it's like, hey, you know, everybody creative can contribute, you know, or this is the beginning of, you know, say Paisley Park kind of being either the next Motown or the Wu-Tang Clan, you know, where, like I said, everybody gets to shine in this universe. So, and nobody leaves, nobody gets kicked out, nobody gets fired, there's no snowstorm. You know, this was something that was worked out in, you know, prior to the album, so there was no need to go run off and produce the SOS band. Sorry, SOS band. But, you know, here we are in the quantum realm, the multiverse, and now we've got the next track on side 2, which is Tell Me If You Still Care. And I know it's hard because that song is just pure perfection, and the way that the SOS band performs that on the record, it's just pure sonic perfection. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite ballads of all time by anybody. But again, in this multiverse, you've got where this is kind of tweaked to fit the image of the time. I mean, it could still be a serious ballad, but you know, like I said, you'd have to tweak it, put it in a different key for Morris's voice, maybe tweak some of the arrangement to where he doesn't have to reach the high notes or anything. But like I said, make it more fitting of the Morris Day personality in that. But you still got those elements, the introduction of the 808 drum machine, you know, the melody is still there, you know, the chorus, the hook is still there, but maybe the lyrics are tweaked again to kind of fit the image of the time on that. And then that would lead off into the final track on the album, you know, because to me, you know, those first 2 Time albums have some of the best album closers of all time, of anybody's album, not just Time album or Minneapolis sound, but in general, any genre. Um, with the first album, closing out with the stick, you know, great closing track, funky, but a great closer. I Don't Want to Leave You, maybe a little bit mellower, but it's still got that, it's still a great closer to that album. So my choice as a closer for this album is, you know, tweaking it a little bit. In our reality, it's the SOS Band's Just Be Good to Me. Here, it's I'll Be Good to You. That's to be the name of the track, because again, the subject matter, it would probably be tweaked. You know, because again, you know, the song was written for the SOS Band, female lead singer, so the lyrics match, you know, her, whatever, you know, because she's female, it works on that level. You couldn't probably have Morris Day sing it that exact same way. So again, in this reality, you're tweaking the lyrics, having that Morris Day, sort of that comedy, you know, that kind of pimp player persona, you know, maybe tweak the lyrics to kind of fit that, and, you know, him just kind of, you know, laying the Mac down like, yeah, I'll be good to you, you know, just be good to you. That'd probably be a better title, Just Be Good to You. Yeah, that would be a better title. Too late to change the graphics on that now, but, you know, I think that would be a good closer. It's funky, and the way that it opens and closes on the SOS Band's version, you can adapt that. You can change that, and again, add some of those time elements. Again, you know, this will be a reality to where the time actually participates musically. It's not just Morris and Jesse and Prince, but you can utilize the band, have it be, because it's a Jam and Lewis composition, they utilize the band more, and you'd have more of Jesse style with the solos and, you know, the lead lines underneath. You know, that's a possibility that you can use. Or, you know, maybe Morris Day is doing something on drums, or Jelly Bean's doing something on drums that makes it, you know, puts more of that time stamp. Time stamp. Anyway, puts more of that time stamp onto that track. You know, as I was doing the show notes to it, there's a song I haven't, this is the SOS Band's On the Rise, which has Tell Me If You Still Care and Just Be Good to Me on it. But there's a third track. As I was doing the show notes, I was listening to this third track that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did called For Your Love. And as I was listening to it, I'm like, wait a minute. The music, at least, that would sound more like a time closer. And like, what if I swapped out Just Be Good to Me with For Your Love, switched out the tracks. But then as I was listening to the song more, and lyrically to what it was saying, I thought, you know what, that might not be a bad B-side. You know, say if you released, say, Bold Generation as a single, then For Your Love would be a pretty good B-side. You know, kind of have that be one of the beginnings. You know, you had Prince with the original B-sides, you know, a la 17 Days or whatever. But have that For Your Love be a good B-side to that. And again, tweaking it in this, you know, imaginary multiverse, you know, just tweaking it again to where it fits the concept of the time, it fits the personality of Morris Day. You know, have him again, you know, sing it pretty much lyrically, you know, sing it straight, but then, you know, again, go into that comedy, you know, so maybe some spoken word parts in it, you know, and he's doing the whole, again, you know, pimp play Mac Daddy thing. And I think it would work, you know. Again, you know, just something fun to come up with. There will be more of these, you know, sort of fan casting different albums. Maybe not necessarily for Prince though. Maybe, I don't know, if I think hard on it, probably so. But definitely there's going to be another imaginary or fantasy time album to follow. So stay tuned, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, so when that video drops, you will be notified and you can watch it at your leisure. In addition to that, also become a Patreon supporter. I'm right now some incentives for becoming a member. If you join at the $3, $5, or $10 level, you will have a voice in the direction of Amari Music Talk, meaning that you can submit a topic or question, and that will become a Patreon exclusive topic or question. And of course, you get shout out, or all members get shout outs at the end of every episode. But like I said, if you submit a question or a topic, that topic will become an episode with your, again, shout out, or you can become a co-host and you can talk about that topic or question, or we'll discuss it together or do a review, whatever the party calls for. So become a supporter. Also, on the higher tiers, if you join at the $20 or $25 level, you will get free merchandise, and among some of that merchandise is this t-shirt. It's the We Funk t-shirt. That's right, there's a t-shirt that matches the song We Funk to the Last Band, that is on a streaming service near you. The album Funky Poetic Bootlegs, my avant-garde lo-fi 4-track, originally 4-track cassette recorded project of funky weirdness, is coming soon, so be on the lookout for that as well. But you can get this t-shirt if you become a Patreon supporter at the $20, $25 level, and also get shout outs and early access to videos and exclusive content and all kinds of great Amari Communications / Richard Cole stuff. So that will end this episode of Amari Purple Talk. Don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. What would you think would be a perfect fantasy time album? What would your track choices be? Again, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. And tune in next episode. Until then, create your day and create your life. Peace.